Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for a Sunday morning edition of Today at the Races. I'm Dan Illman, along with Keith Fustel. We've got 8 on the card today. You had a good day yesterday. Early pick 5. Ticket, bang.
Take it. Small investment. 28 got you 240. So, yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of prices on yesterday's card. Yum eat it up, right? The only double-digit winner to get you started, but we had that included in that early pick 5. And I tell you what, the use of the all button got me home because I don't know if I would have had Night Preacher in my top couple selections, but nonetheless, a really good effort by that Salzman with a couple winners here of late. But yeah, we'll take it, and we're going to hopefully finish this weekend with a bang. And we want to thank all of our fans that were on track yesterday.
Good
live,
turnout.
Really good turnout, celebrating the Mardi Gras, all the specials that we had, and we want to see you back here real soon.
And hopefully we'll see you before Preakness, but Preakness is coming up, and Preakness tickets are available. Preakness 150, this is Preakness Preview Day, is coming up Saturday, April the 19th, but Preakness tickets are available right now at Preakness.com. Speaking of Preakness Preview Day, we've got the Handicapping Challenge. Great to see handicapping contests right here at Laurel Park. $500 buy-in, $250 to the bankroll, $250 to the prize pool, cash prizes, a chance to win a seat to either the NHC or the BCBC. 2 free Preakness tickets, I believe, to the winner as well. Head on over to laurelpark.com/Preakness Preview Day Contest. All one word.
That's great.
Let's take a look at the weather. It's cold, Keith. I thought we were done with this stuff, and now it's freezing again.
Yeah, 30 degrees. It might tick up a little bit more. We've got some wind to go along, which is going to keep things on the chilly side. But we took advantage of a really nice day yesterday. It was great calling the charts and seeing everybody lined up out there on the apron. But I think they're going to trend back in a northerly direction from a temperature standpoint over the next 10 days.
Well, I certainly hope so. So let's kick things off on an 8-race card. First post, of course, 12:10 Eastern.
Okay.
Race number 1, 3/4 of a mile, 7,500 down to 6. Beaten claimer for fillies and mares. Take out the 6, Forgotten Gift. Big scratch because Forgotten Gift was likely to be the speed. Of course, race number 1 is the kickoff leg of our early value pick 5 with a low 12% takeout. It is a player-friendly bet. Arguably, I don't even think it's arguably, the most player-friendly bet in the business.
It is. And jump in. I know Mark Lapidus, one of our fans, owners, bettors, really loves this early pick 5, and he jumps in every day. So hopefully you join as well. Here's your ticket. It's a $36 ticket. Yesterday I did have a couple singles. We were lucky enough to get Biravino Boulevard, our best play of the day. We took a little bit of a late hit down to 2-1. Well, that's a story for another day. But 36 here. We've got a couple bucks to play with. I have no singles on this early value pick 5 with that 12% takeout. 147 to get you started. Race 2, one of the two, Tune to the Moon. We've got a video on that one, Happy Hour Joker. Race 3 with the 5, 7, and 8. Authenticated, your morning line favorite at 9-5. Certainly the money should come in on this Brittany Russell Firster. Feistiness, I've been chasing that one as well. The blinkers go on. Dine and Dash off some time. Could be a retooled individual for Rudy Sanchez Salomon. Race 4 with the 1 and 2. Edge of Town, Pino's little girl, a couple key scratches. Definitely the huge scratch was Crusader Rabbit for Brittany. You're going to take out the 4 and the 6 in there. Race 5. Wrap it up with the 4 and the 6, Mad for Maddie. It was a little audible for me, and the 6, Estacada, because of the scratch of the 7, Point Unlimited, who I thought was going to be a little bit of a nuisance up front, and also scratch Moon Cash out of that. It leaves you with a $36 early value pick 5 play. Again, 12% takeout, pays out. Please join us for this early value pick 5.
And we kick it off with race number 1. Again, take out the 6, Forgotten Gift. Let's start with the 4, your top selection,
Yes.
Sweet Heidelberg. We have a video spotlight of Sweet Heidelberg's win 2 starts back. This is the last time Sweet Heidelberg raced with Lasix, and boy, was she sharp from the gate, pushing the pace from in between horses, taking the lead and just putting away these other pace horses, and kept on rolling.
Looks a little bit like that effort from Double Arrow yesterday for Robbie Bales. Took back and they made that early bid in between horses. This is what Sweet Heidelberg did on February the 8th. Was able to shake clear and hold sway by 3 and some change. Gets the condition today. You see the condition, non-winners of 2 since September 2nd. Last time out, just too tough. And then Nellie Morse led for a while. Once headed, leaving the 5/16. The right move by Betancourt. We're going to go ahead and protect and wait for another day. And today is the day. Sweet Heidelberg, I think, will be able to stay close enough to Tamshar, your top selection.
The race we just saw for Sweet Heidelberg, she was going route to sprint. She goes route to sprint again. She gets Lasix again, and she's going to be close to the pace. Tamchar last time out was really hustled out of the gate, but just couldn't keep up with Forgotten Gift. That horse went, what, 21 and 2 for the opening quarter mile? Tamchar was fairly close to that pace and still tried really hard. She's not going to have to go 21 and 2 to get close to the pace here, whether she's on the lead or sitting second. She's a consistent hard knocker who just figures in the thick of things turning for home. She's a horse I have to use, and she's your second pick. Talk me onto YOLO Calls.
YOLO Calls, just a little shot here. Wayne Potts used to be a mainstay here in Maryland. Has been doing a lot of work in New York and elsewhere. But synthetic, well, it's the first time for Wayne. Synthetic to dirt, and you're looking at this horse's dirt races. Seems much, much better on a fast main track. So you're looking back, no good in the slot back in September. Then the next race in November, it was a good one. Open 12-5 at Churchill. Prompted the pace, battled on, very game to the wire. Slam Diego came back to run a 68 buyer figure. That certainly would work against these. I just think the change of surface, change of barns, fast track is going to move YOLO Calls up off of those couple recent efforts that really kind of help dirty things up and might give you a little bit more value.
I'm not expecting the pace to be too hot, but I think we could agree that Loving Cup is one of the better closers in this race. I just didn't think she handled the wet track last time behind Tamchar. Her races on fast going 2 and 3 starts back were good.
Yeah, they were good enough. I think this horse can settle a little further back, maybe 3-4 out of it past mid-turn. I mean, I don't think the blazing speed of Forgotten Gift is out of here. So I think she's still going to have to stay in range. She's got enough going back on her page to work out a better trip. I think she'll finish up here better today.
Keith's going 4-7-1-5. I'm going 7-4-5-2 in the opener today at Laurel Park. We move on to race number 2. 5.5 furlongs. Maiden Claimer 30-24. Scratch the 3, Mariah Catherine. Scratch the 4, Sevens Magic. It only leaves us with a field of 4. And speaking of 4, race number 2 is the kickoff leg of the 50-cent early pick 4. We've got an early and late pick 4 today. 50-cent minimum wager. In this race, now you're going to have 4 horses, and 2 of them are going to take a lot of money.
Yeah, you've got a firster on the outside with Wicked Melissa last session at the 5 barn change. Maybe a little bit better suited for turf or synth in my opinion, but I respect the barn immensely along with that owner-trainer combination. They've been really, really good over the last several years off the claim. But the inside speeds are the 1 and the 2, and they've got the experience. But I thought the 1, Tune to the Moon, ran really big in debut. I have a video spotlight of this runner for Kieran McGee. took some play, bet down at just over 2-1 in debut. Here's your start.
Just bumped at the start, and a first-time starter taking that sort of bump, it's never easy. What I like about Tune to the Moon is she recovers pretty nicely afterwards. She is far back, but she's going to get into the race. It takes her about 2 or 3 strides to me on this muddy track to get into action, and now she is in gear, and she's cruising on up 4 wide. So she's missed the break.
Yep.
She had a little slop kicked in her face, and now she's losing ground on the turn. And all in all, she's going to end up finishing second. I thought it was a good effort for her, and Kieran does much better second out than with first-time starters.
Exactly. I mean, and when you really dig into this family, it's a little bit maybe distance. There's some limitations there, it looks like, because the sibs were quick. You go through the family. I like the move even to 5.5 a little bit better, because when you look at this family, I think you're going to see with a cleaner break, she can pop right onto the front and keep Happy Hour Joker honest.
And that's the key to the race, because she draws the inside post. How much does this post position bother you, seeing how she broke in her debut? Or was it simply a case, maybe, she just wasn't really totally tuned up for that debut, and the break was just sort of, she needed the experience.
I'll give them a pass in debut, no doubt about it. A lot going on. You've got a muddy sealed surface, and you saw her come in. She almost brushed the gate as well. But Kieran's second time out, you kind of gave us this little stat here. 4 for the last 10 with the second out maidens, 40% with a 368 ROI. She's going to have to come out well enough, because Happy Hour Joker, you're kind of looking at those first 2 races, some of the company lines, a move back, maiden special weight to the maiden claiming, Lasix on, blinkers on. It's going to be all systems go, I think, with Villalobos. Salzman with a couple winners we talked about earlier in the show. Hit with honors due on Friday and Night Preacher yesterday.
Yeah, I've liked both of her starts thus far. In her debut, she faced several next-out winners. The winner of that race, Miss Notion, was a very impressive first-time starter, and she didn't break well. In her debut, wound up 4 or 5 wide into the turn and then flattened out. Second time out, prompted the odds-on gate-to-wire winner, and then understandably tired. Now, she was listed as a scratch on December the 28th, and now she's coming off of a lengthy layoff, dropping in class. Maybe that's a negative, but as you mentioned, the Salzman barn's going well, Lasix on, blinkers on, and we have a stat for Happy Hour Joker. Salzman, who is on fire recently, experienced runners, first-time Lasix, 3 for the last 10, 30%, 256. I think if Happy Hour Joker breaks, she's going to take it to Tune to the Moon.
Yeah, you've got the first turn of the mix there. Wicked Melissa, obviously we're a 4-horse field here. Looking at this, yes, the barn has done okay. First time out here, the 394 ROI. Wicked strong top side. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 races and maybe a little bit more distance for Wicked Melissa.
Yeah, that's the concern. Wicked Strong just doesn't do very well with first-time starters, but the second dam was a stakes place dirt sprinter. We'll see what we get. La Saxonach, I'm worried about, needs a little pace help. 1-2-5-6 for Keith, 2-1-6-5 for me in race number 2. Let's move on to race number 3. We're going 3/4 of a mile. It's another maiden claiming event. 12.5 down to 10 for 3-year-old fillies. Maryland breds eligible to run for the claiming price of $15,000, and another big scratch. One of the major contenders in here, the 4 Miss Serafina, not only from a class standpoint, but from a pace standpoint, she is out. This race is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. Pick the first place finisher in each of these 6 races in the Pick 6, and if you're the only one to hit it, you get the jackpot. We got a carryover for the Chesapeake Pick 6, $6,685 already in the kitty for today's Pick 6. Let's talk a little bit about race number 3. That is a big scratch, I thought, Keith. Let's start with the first-time starter for Brittany Russell. We know that's a hot angle. The 7 authenticated, debuting for 15.
Yeah, the authenticated. That's and debuting for 15. It's a little bit of a concern, but a steady string of works. She's just got so many runners in this barn.
Yeah.
To gauge the talent levels, and I just got to give a slight edge because the percentages they play in your favor. Second dam, I've got written down 1 debut, stakes place, 1 dirt and turf, versatility within the family. Bullet work leading into this. This is an okay pick for me. I find this is a real challenge, race 3. If I could hit the all button in here, I probably would. The 1 would be a surprise, but I just lean with percentages here with authenticated to 7. I think a sneaky horse, and you don't have this one in the mix, Dan. I think the 8, Dine and Dash, Rudy Sanchez, Solomon. You see the comment in debut. Bump, steadied start. Didn't take a whole lot of play in that 8-horse field, but could be retooled off of this kind of layoff. An ROI that hedges close to $4. Both siblings to race are winners. I like the outer draw. And both sibs won kind of early. They showed a little speed. It's just a little sneaky. That's a dirtied up debut, given time to regroup against a very questionable field in the third.
It was a very strong field that she was in against in that debut. Great Andre is a stakes horse. She has come back to run 4 times, 1 win, 2 seconds, 1 third, 72 Beyer top. Diana Dash going to get Lasix for the first time for her second lifetime start. That's a good angle. I think this outside draw works for her. She's an interesting horse at a price. Thorold Miss is where I'm going to go in here. Now, maybe it was the wet track that moved her up last time out, but it was nice to finally see her show a little bit of life. She sort of saved ground in mid-pack, made a 4-5 wide bid on the turn, and then she flattened out. I think the mile might have been a little bit far for her. She's turning back to 6. She was in against Trace Ares, who came back to win with a 47 Beyer speed figure. So I think Thorold Miss can kick on late, turning back to 6.
We chased her a little bit since that encouraging debut at Timonium. She was laid off quite a bit and hasn't come back, but I think the move route the sprint should work for her. I think the 3-Pawtucket Shuffle is the speed. I think looking at this race and breaking down the internals, they're not blazing, but enough that if Zambrana gets aggressive and these firsters don't show a ton of early lick, this one could be right out on the edge in Pawtucket Shuffle. Second time Lasix. I had a little stat somewhere here that was positive, but I'm going to tell you it was an okay move with these horses with the maiden claimers for the trainer. So I think here it is, 3 for 13 with the maiden claimers second time Lasix.
I just think she's found a home over this circuit at this class level, and she hasn't had a chance to strut her stuff over fast going since her debut at Saratoga, which all in all was not a bad effort. She was 7-1 in a pretty full field of New York bred maiden specials. She broke slowly. She was wide. She ran okay. Since then, it's been one wet track after another, and I thought last time out she showed much improved tactical speed despite cutting back in distance. I think she'll be close to the pace along with the 5 feistiness, a horse that's getting blinkers for the first time. It's Ness, it's J-Rod. You might actually get a price on these connections.
It's another one that I've lost plenty on the last 3 starts because that debut was okay on that muddy sealed surface. Got going very, very late. Blinkers going on. This is the wake-up call. If we're ever going to get it for feistiness, it's going to be today. And again, looking at those lines, you should still get a little value with a Ness runner.
But you're going with the high percentage play. Brittany, first-time starter, the 7 authenticated. This one by Authentic out of a full sister to ring weekend who won the Kilroe on turf and the Tampa Bay Derby on dirt. So you were absolutely right when you said versatility. 7-8-5-3 for Keith. I'm hoping Thorold Miss can maybe benefit from the experience. 2, 3, 5, and 7. Let's move on to race number 4. We're going 3/4 of a mile. It's one of our 3 feature races on today's card. This race is for fillies and mares, a high-level allowance for them. Scratch the 4 Crusader Rabbit, scratch the 6 Hateful. Again, unfortunately, only a field of 4 for race number 4, but it does kick off our 12% low takeout value pick 5. 50 cent is the minimum. And in here, I think a lot of folks are going to be probably going with the 1 and the 2. And as we see from our colleague Mackenzie Pfeiffer, it's all in on Edge of Town.
It's all in on Edge of Town, and I like the recent improvement. A little bit sharper in her races through the opening quarter mile, but Pinot's little girl is awfully quick as well. So see if Edge of Town can reel that one in. But she's going to start out here with a single. Race 5, she goes 2 deep. Complexity Jane off the troubled debut. Got it done for Brittany Russell. In the 4, Mad for Maddie. A couple-time winner here in a row for Ned Allard. J-Rod goes there. Race 6. Okay, this is where it gets dicey. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. It's a tough race. Walk away Joe going second off the claim. I like how she uses energy efficient. This is a horse at an 8-1 morning line that needs to be used, in my opinion, for Ricky Sillam. It could be the speed of the speed. Carry them off the reclaim. Race 7. It's a single of Ruminski. Man, he looked good prior to the break first off the claim. Freshened up awfully fast from the outside post. And wrap it up. Race 8 with the all button. It's a $35 late value pick 5 for Mackenzie Pfeiffer.
$35 for Mac as she kicks off the pick 5. And we'll kick off the pick 5 in race number 4. You're going to go with Edge of Town, Keith. This horse really tracked some solid fractions last time out. Look at those internals. 23-2, then 23-3. Saved every inch of ground. This time, the pace is likely going to be a lot easier for her. I can see her break under J-Rod, maybe let Pinot's little girl go and get to the outside.
That's that's the move, right? That patented move where they just let that speed go, take back, work out. We're trying to make that rebid. I'm just wondering, let's go to the video spotlight of Pino's little girl, if that sloppy sealed surface kind of bump that number way up. She's 2 for 2 on the wet track, but had a real trouble trip 2 races back. That was first off the claim. Here's her second try off the claim. It was really, really good.
She's sitting just off Anonymously, who's a really sharp horse going into this race, and she blows by Anonymously with no problem. Now, she turns into the stretch. She's going to drift in just a little bit, but she's already clear of Anonymously, and you're going to see Pino's little girl swap leads a couple of times in the stretch. I don't know, maybe she got a little bit bored once she made the lead, but she's kicking on in the stretch. A big 81 by her speed figure. She did run well over fast-going 2 starts back with the tough trip, and she looks like the main and controlling speed in a short field. I scratched into her in the program. I'm certainly using her in any sort of multiple race wagers. I'm not sure if Honor of the Truth can overcome the layoff and the lack of pace in this race, but to me she's kind of an interesting horse, getting blinkers for the first time from Michael Gorham. I looked up his stats, 6 for the last 24 with a $3.51 ROI for Gorham, with experienced horses getting blinkers for the first time. It's just that this horse needs a lot of pace. I thought last time out, hated the wet track. I think this horse wants nothing to do with the wet track. So she'll get fast going here. She needs the 1 and the 2 to hook up. It seems unlikely. I'm using 2 and 3 in multis. Honor of the Truth's a better price.
I guess when you're looking at this from a wagering standpoint, you just hammer something 1, 2, 2, 1, and then pick your third horse and just go to get the most value. Because if it's a 1, 2, 2, 1 exacta, $8 maybe.
You're trying to split the chalks.
Split the chalks if you can. But yeah, that Pino's little girl, I think she survived the foul claim in there as well when she was doing that little squirrely move, drifting in upper stretch. So I'm 1, 2, you're 3, 2.
1, 2, 3, 5 for Keith. 3, 2, 1, 5 for me. 4 down, 4 to go. We're going to take a break. When we come back, time for the late pick 4. Welcome back to Today at the Races. I'm Dan. He's Keith. Time for our 50-cent late pick 4, beginning with race number 5. We're going a 1-turn mile. First level allowance, 62,500 claiming option. These are for 3-year-old fillies. Take out the 2 Moon Cash. Take out the 7 Point Unlimited. The pick 4 has a 50-cent minimum wager. Races 5 through 8. This field, again, I think the race complexion changed with the scratch of the 2 Moon Cash, who I thought was going to show good speed in here. Now it's going to be interesting to see who's the pace of this race. I won't be surprised at all if Complexity Jane is a lot sharper from the gate this time around. Do you think Chicken Lickin' blinkers on is just going to go?
I don't know if she's got that initial roll from the gate. Maybe the blinkers on will enhance that speed. I don't know. I think Mad for Maddie, when I looked at the internals last time in New York on that muddy sealed surface, tell you what, they were fairly testing when you compare them to some of those other races. And I looked at, I think one of them was a non-winners of one other than State Bred Boy. So that was impressive. They had every right to get a little bit tired, but found more and dug down deep. I think the road is going to go through Mad for Maddie once they turn for home.
But let's talk about your top pick, the 6, Estacada. You do have a trainer stat for Antonio Machado, who's been sending out a lot of live horses.
Yeah, this is really good. Look at this. The last 2 years on the Laurel Dirt with a 31 to 60-day layoff. 6 for 13, 46% with a 260 ROI. I just thought that last race, light bulb went on. They didn't go real fast, but that was a heavier surface that day at 3/4 and 17 and 2. You're not going to see that, but the authoritative way in which this one rolled to victory gives me a lot of hope. And this guy, when he wins races, they win in bunches. I think Estacada can stay close enough to try to wear down Mad for Mad. This is a tricky race. You make a great point. Complexity Chain, what's she going to bring to the table? Because let's look at the video spotlight. She was basically eliminated at the break, you thought, but was able to recover.
This is her debut for Brittany Russell. She took a lot of money, and she just gets forced inward at the start, and she is far, far behind. Let's watch it again. Bumped at the break, but Sheldon Russell always knew what he had under him here, and Complexity Jane is just kind of cruising down on the inside. This is a very professional performance. Eases out again, and then it's going to drop back down to the rail again. Sheldon knew that this horse had a lot of professionalism because sometimes you just take him to the far outside. You don't want dirt in the pace. You don't want to get stopped. But look at Sheldon. Really hasn't asked this horse for much run and is just waiting for a seam. Well, the seam is going to open up down on the rail, and Complexity Jane kicks hard.
Yeah, could have easily gone out there 4 or 5 wide, but he says, you know what, she's obviously been working against the right kind, I would think, in the morning. Again, had the measure, went between the horses very professionally there, dropped to the inside to surge away and win clear by 3 1/4. So obviously we've seen that kind of move that she's got when he says let's go, she's going to go and pick it up. So Complexity Jane, very interesting here, second time out for Brittany Russell.
He's going to have to break clean from the inside post. Certainly bred, I think, to get the mile. And the way she finished up in that debut makes you think that she's going to get it. Mad for Maddie has already won twice, and both of those races have come at a one-turn mile, most recently over a wet track at Aqueduct. She was a gigantic price for Ned Allard that day, and she made a very confident move on the turn to make the lead. And turning into the stretch, it looked like she was in big, big trouble, and she always found a little bit more. So she has some heart. She earned a strong speed figure in that race. And in this race, a race that might not have a lot of speed, it's nice to know that she can make her own trip.
Oh, absolutely. And I think she will. I think if she comes away cleanly, J-Rod's going to put her right up on the engine. You're right. Chicken Lick and might go. Complexity Jane, we'll wait and see. But Mad for Maddie, those internals were good. And J-Rod, who rode Estacada, my top selection to victory last time, he's going to go ahead and go here with Mad for Maddie for Ned Allard. So interesting race. There's some quality in here. No one would really surprise me getting to the line first. Even Rosie on the River, I think
Just
going back out is the right move, going back out to a distance.
Just didn't break last time out over a muddy track, and I think that really worked against her. She ran into Safe Trust, who came back and then, placed in the wide country, earned a 66 Beyer speed figure. I really like this distance for Rosie on the River, and maybe she'll show a little bit of early speed. Keith's going 6-4, 1-3. Estacada, I still think we haven't seen her best. Her debut showed promise, and she really built on it second time out. We'll see if Mad for Maddie can make it 3 in a row. 6-4-1-3 for Keith, 4-1-6-3 for me in race number 5. Let's move on to race number 6. We're going 2 turns, a mile and a 16. One of the better betting races on the program. 7,500 down to 6,000 beaten claimers for 4-year-olds and up. We're going to take out 1/2 of the Jamie Ness trained entry in the 1 Helium and also the 8 Dare Divide. This race is also the Jackpot Super High 5. $1 minimum wager, 15% takeout. Got to pick all 5 in a row, the old pentafecta. But look at that carryover. We're over 10,000.
Penta is strong today. Yes, dive in on the $1 Jackpot Super High 5 here in race 6. Good field. I move inside. You're going to use this horse as well. Energy Efficient, a reclaim for Ricky Silliman. Has been laid off since late December, but I think catches the right kind of field. A field pretty much devoid of any quality speed. Energy Efficient, not normally let's go right to the front, but I think with a good break with Toledo, it inherits the front and can control it. Comes in here with a good work. The last time it ran for Ricky, a good number, a 73. We got a stat.
Richard Silliman, first off the claim, 3 for the last 10, 30%, $3.64 return on investment, and this is a reclaim.
Yes.
This horse ran very well for Silliman. I think it's really interesting that they claimed this horse back. Looking at them, he was freshened since that race. I just like the fact that he's got speed, as you mentioned. And Toledo, I think, is going to be aggressive with Energy Efficient, take advantage of this good inside post, and try to go to the front. The barn has done good work with this horse in the past. They dip back in to take him again. I think he's going to go. I picked him in the program. I'm using him in any kind of multiple race wagers. But as I watched some video last night, I just fell on the Ford Durkins call a little bit. And you look at Durkins' call, and you really can't find his last win. You got to go all the way back to, my goodness, 2023 at Aqueduct. But this is an old hard knocker. He's earned almost $500,000 in his career. I watched his last race at Charlestown, his second start of the year, and he was kind of tracking in between horses in the second flight, and he was in tight. And the trip eventually worked out. The rail opened up for him in the stretch, and he just flattened out a little bit. But to me, it was a sign that he showed a little bit of life, and he's going to be a gigantic price in this race. So if he gets a little bit of pace, I'd like to use Durkin's Call at a price along with Energy Efficient and the 1A Walk Away Joe, who's a really honest horse.
He is going second off the claim. Another one's a little bit pace dependent. We like to use that term a little bit. Yeah, I think it's just chased better in recent memory. These races have been tough that he's been involved in, but he's going to have to try to save a little bit of ground. I don't know if he wants an overland trip right from the get-go, but he works in here. He's got the style that can just kind of steadily get up to him. Would not be a surprise if he got it done against his
Another horse that would use, that I think would benefit from today's faster ground. I don't think he cares for a wet track. And last time out, he was saving some ground. He kind of was over and behind horses at the 3/16 pole, and then they ran away from him. So maybe a better trip is coming for him here. Talk to me a little bit about Master of None. I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a fan of this horse.
Yeah, I think this horse fits very well in here. Talking about the lack of speed, I do think you're looking at his races, it's not really there. I think it's there against this particular group. Yodelio was very eager, went ahead and got the lead last time. This horse rode a great trip, 4 wide, leaving the 3/8 to sustain. Going inside, I think this horse was out in the clear last time. Maybe a little cover will take him a little further. I don't see him terribly far back by the time they turn for home.
I just think that trip wasn't good for him because, as you said, Yodelio, who was a backclasser, went to the lead, opened up on the turn, and all of a sudden this horse is on a really hard chase from the 5/16 to the quarter, and then understandably tired. This horse would benefit with cover. Let other horses do the dirty work and come with the run. Talk me on to Catch the Smoke, second off the Wayne Potts claim.
Catch the Smoke. Yeah, this is another one where you're really looking at it. It's scary because claimed out of that nickel condition race, run second, beaten favorite at Parks. Prior form, you've got avoided claim. A little bit, I'm a little bit concerned, but brings this one down. I think has enough positional speed. If this horse is right, might be an all or nothing type because I think he's the one that can go ahead and hound my top selection if needed. Catch him. That's the kind of trip I'm going to want to see from that one, no doubt. I want to see him close in stalking.
You're going 2-3, 1A and 7. I'm going 4-2, 1A and 3. Big lean on the 2-4, and I'll also be using the 1A in multiple race wagers. Let's move on. Race number 7. We're going 3/4 of a mile. It's a high-level allowance with a $55,000 claiming option. Let's scratch the number 5, 7's 11. The two favorites on the morning line are horses coming off of long layoffs, but they have different profiles. The 7 Shafts Bullet might want a little bit more distance, and you have to wonder if Gary Cap's using this race as a prep for something longer. Rominski, this is his game. He is speed. He likes to sprint.
Yes, he does. Going second off the claim, we've got a video spotlight of that race prior to the layoff. His layoff, he's been off since June the 16th. But Rominski, man, he's just quick from the gate. 5 out of 6 last year in 2024. Tremendous campaign. This horse on the go back was a claim for 12-5. And boy, is he moved right on up the ladder. You got the date condition here today. He's able to control it through fractions of 22, 44, and 4 for Brittany Russell and Sheldon Russell, and just widens past the 8th ball over a pretty good field. Recruiter came back to run a 93.
A 101 buyer speed figure for Rominski in this race. And it's not like that race came out of nowhere. The race 2 starts back. The horse earned a 96 buyer speed figure. He's seeking his 5th straight. He looks like the speed. He's going to have to deal with a layoff. We haven't seen him since that start in June, but Brittany generally does well with horses off long layoffs, breaking from the outside post. You got to think that Sheldon's going to get him into stride for a stride or two and just let him roll.
I think the only horse, well, he's got a couple horses to measure maybe from the inside. I think one of them's going to be No Easy Days, and the other would be On the Mark. On the Mark holding pretty good form here for Schenkel. Interesting sort. He doesn't necessarily need to lead. Will he go ahead and set up shop and try to stalk? But Rominski, if he comes back anything close to what he left, the way he left, I think he just goes right to the front, clears off around the turn, and goes. Because you talk about this barn, layoffs, they're not a concern.
Shafts Bullet, though, is a pretty strong horse in his own right. He won the Harrison E. Johnson
really
Memorial, going a 1-turn mile back in March of last year. We just have not seen him since July, where he ran really well in that Battery Park Stakes at Delaware, where he was sort of in between horses in the stretch and fighting it out, and he just missed. Now, he's coming back at a distance that's probably shorter than his best, and if Rominski gets away with an easy pace, it'll be tough for Shafts Bullet to rally into, but I think he's just as classy as Rominski, and He's pretty agile for a two-turn horse. Watching his races, he can sort of wind his way in and out. Maybe he's quicker than he looks.
Absolutely. He is a talented horse. He's one of my favorites, Chasable. Good to see him back. Sandwiched in between Sir Wellington and Spike Zone. A couple good horses in the run right. The last time he sprinted, that was back in May at Delaware. Yeah, I just still think he's going to need a little bit of help, but he'll be finishing up. I would almost guarantee you that final eighth of a mile.
No Easy Days is a very underrated horse, and I thought he ran well last time out. He tried to get into it with a 3-wide bid on the turn, and then he got checked right on the wire. This is a horse that is honest, and if you believe the 7 and the 8 are going to be compromised by the layoffs, this is a horse in good form with back class and recency.
Yeah, I'm going to tie up the 3 a little bit, though, Dan. Debit card as a shot. That last race, December 29th, ended up being a 3-horse field.
That's not his game.
No, pulled the upset 2 races prior with the flow and one going away. I just think there is going to be more pace in here. I look for an improved effort. And if you're looking kind of the split, the 2 favorites, to me, this is the horse that could sneak away at 6-8 to 1 and really help boost that exacta.
8736 for Keith, 7826 for me. Interesting to see this nice little matchup between Rominsky and Shaft's Bullet in race number 7. Let's complete the card. Race number 8, 3/4 of a mile, 12-5 down to 10. These are maiden fillies, 3-year-olds, and the 6 On a Proud Note is the 6-5 morning line favorite. And I guess we'll start with On a Proud Note. We have a video spotlight for her. This is another horse coming off a layoff. We haven't seen her since this race on October the 11th. But as you see, the break wasn't exactly there for her.
No, broke in, bump steady. Yeah, is our short comment. Definitely the old pincharoo is that horse to the outside, laid in about a path, and really tightened things up for her on a Proud Note. She's able to recover, has to rate back and then work to the outside. You saw almost a little bit of a steady there heading towards the turn. Makes a decent mid-move here to get within a length and a half of the leader. Just couldn't sustain.
Now, she was entered a month after this, and she was scratched, so she's coming off a layoff, and she is taking a precipitous drop in class from the 37.5 down to 15. If she runs some of her races, both of her races from a speed figure standpoint, she's right there. She's getting Lasix for the first time for Michael Trombetta. But as you saw, On a Proud Note was likely compromised by that start and that rush.
And she's got a better draw here to the outside. I think with a good break, she's on or near the lead when they head into the turn. And here's Trombetta, a stat for him. Maidens dropping at least 50% in price. 5 for the last 15, 33% strike rate with a 225 ROI. Pretty good. I'm going a little bit off the rails here, it looks like to me, with the 5 more bubbles, just taking a shot as a get-out horse. Only try, the try on the fast track prior to the little break back, it was good. The 39 buyer kind of stands out. I'll give a pass to the 2 muddy sealed surface. The horse is beating a total of, about 50 lengths in those 2? Just a reach here to get back on a fast track. First time blinkers on a fast track with second Lasix. Mena, maybe.
I actually think you might be onto something here with this horse because she earned a solid figure in her second lifetime start, and visually I thought it was pretty good. She had to alter course back to the rail. I liked the way she galloped out after that race, and maybe, just maybe, she didn't like those wet tracks. So she's a dirtied up horse that's going to be a big price going out for a Jock Mena who's in very good form right now. Let's talk a little bit about Born Charmer for Jerry Robb. I think Born Charmer might be the speed of this race, and we also have a trainer stat. A third out maidens, 4 for the last 17, 24%, a $2.59 ROI. The pace wasn't necessarily fast last time out, but at least it was pressured, and she was game to hold second behind a runaway.
Willing enough, building up that stamina, but I do think she's going to have to deal with On a Proud Note when they turn for home.
I want to talk about Noel's Dream because you've got her in the mix second, and this is another horse that likely is going to benefit from her career debut. I didn't think she broke very well. She came 4 wide into the stretch, and she just had the misfortune to run into a horse that ran off the screen, but she did run on willingly for third.
Yeah, and the Lord Nelsons are okay. They can win early as well. Caught wide when making the little bit of a run. She's going to need some help, and I think she's going to get it with Born Charmer and On a Proud Note going out there battling around the turn. So I'll take a shot there with that Linda Albert runner to make a run.
I like that you're going for prices
Okay.
in the final leg of our 50-cent value pick 5 wager with the low 12% takeout. 5, 2, 1, and 6 for Keith. 6, 4, 1, and 2 for me. Value play.
Okay.
Where are you going?
All right, let's see. Best play today. I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I go energy efficient.
Yeah.
I just think at this kind of number, even if we can get 6 to 1, I know we have a scratch part of that entry was out in there, right, in race number 6.
Half the entry, helium.
Yeah, half the part of it is out. Helium, Dare Divide is out. We might come down a touch, but I think it's his race to lose on the front end. I think if Toledo just breaks, is able to clear and relax, give me like a 20. We saw 20, maybe 25 opening quarter up to 49 and change. This guy's got staying power against this kind of field. I mean, there's just no real big presser in here that I see, except maybe for the pots. I just think this horse gets the right kind of flow up
And
top
again,
today.
love the reclaim angle there for Silliman. My best plays in the opener. I like Tamchar in here. I just
Okay.
think that scratch helps her. I think she'll be right up close to the pace. She's a really honest horse. The problem is she's really a short price, so maybe the best way to use Tamchar, and again, this is kind of a chalky double, but I think we're going to go 7 with the 2 in the early daily double and maybe play it a few times. Tamchar, my best play in the opener.
Right.
8-race program here at Laurel Park. First post is 12:10 Eastern. Our colleagues Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman, they'll take you through the day's action. And speaking of Dave Rodman, let's go up to the booth for some scratches and changes.
Good luck.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Laurel Park. 25 minutes out to post time at 12:10. Temperature in the low 30s, winds out of the west at about 10 miles per hour. Sunny skies on this Sunday. 8 races on the card, and followed up by racing from Moronis, Uruguay, races 9 through 14. Here's a look at your Laurel Park changes. First race, scratch the 6, Forgotten Gift. First race, scratch 6. Second race, scratch number 3, Mariah Catherine. Scratch 4, 7's Magic. Third race, scratch 4, Miss Serafina. Scratch the 4. Fourth race, scratch 4, Crusader Rabbit. Scratch 6, Hateful, fourth race. Fifth race, scratch 2, Mooncash. Scratch 7, Point Unlimited. Sixth race, scratch the plain 1, part of the entry. Helium. Helium. Scratch 8, Dare Divide. 9, Loose Goose is 2 over. 7th race, scratch 5, 7's 11. Scratch the 5, race 7, 7's 11. 8th race, no changes. Value pick 5s, early pick 5, mandatory payout, late pick 5, carryover potential, 12% takeout for the value pick 5 plays. Chesapeake pick 6 starts in race 3, carryover $6,685. And the jackpot Zebra High 5 in race 6, carryover $10,467. High 5 in race 6. 22 minutes to post time, track is fast. Good luck this afternoon at Laurel Park.